Anytime someone is trying or chasing, they are energetically saying in the present moment right now, I lack this thing. And what happens is from that lack energy, like attracts like, so you end up seeing and experiencing synchronicities and opportunities that mirror back that lack. Now, on the other side of it, gratitude is an energy that says, I am grateful for this which is in my life now. So what happens is it's literally a signal to the universe, to God, that says, thank you for this in my life. It is an equal match to the energetic field you are embodying. Now, wanting, desiring, and chasing energetically blocks that which you want coming into your life. So understand, these are two very different energies. Now, what most people do, because that's what we've been taught to do, is to want things. It's to want. Think about even the way we've been socially conditioned to believe and to be. It's that we aren't good enough the way we are. If we want and we get these things that we have been seeing in commercials, then we will feel enough. So there's always a feeling there's a feeling that something wrong now, in the future I'll have this thing. So we've been conditioned for a very long time to believe that. So understand that part of taking your power back is realizing that if you were to feel gratitude for that which you want, and you were to feel it now, you would then experience more synchronicities and more opportunities in your life now that reflect that back. So in a way, it's can you change your energy to then change the response that you're getting. So if you have questions, go ahead and put it in the Q&A section at the bottom. You'll see it down there. I started this live off talking about that, of chasing. I do have some questions over here from my community, the High Vibe Tribe. If you haven't seen it, it's completely free to join. And there's a few questions in here that I might answer as well. So I've got like 2 questions going on at the same time. So if you have some, practice gratitude. You know, back when I remember when I was first learning about this process called reality transurfing, which is a book that was written by a Russian quantum physicist, written in Russian and then translated to English. And one thing that I did is I did one of these techniques from that book that included visualizing it and seeing it as natural for you to experience something in your life. And what I would do is every night go to bed visualizing, feeling as if I already was in this specific kind of house that I wanted to rent. It was in Vegas back in the day when the rental market was crazy, and there were like 5 other applications on this house. I wanted that house. So what I did is every night I went to bed, I would visualize being in this house. I would visualize waking up on the side of the bed in the master bedroom that I would be in. I visualized enjoying creating videos in that house, and it was natural for my identity. It wasn't on a pedestal. It wasn't this really cool thing I was going to create or manifest. It was natural for my identity. And I decreased the level of importance of that thing even happening. And what ended up happening is I ended up getting that exact house, even though there were many other applications on that house. And I lived there for a year. In my old YouTube videos, if you remember the blue, it was like kind of like a bluish vibe with the wave in the background. That was the house. And it had to do with visualizing it and seeing it as natural. And I think for a lot of people what happens is it's like they visualize it and they feel it, or they try to feel it, but it's this thing that's on a pedestal. Because it's believed that if this thing happened, then I would feel whole and complete. Versus letting it be natural that your needs are being met. Let it be natural that things get awesome. Do you see the difference there? So you could also say that this goes back to something I just posted on Instagram on the mother-father-child dynamic. Because if your needs weren't met as a kid, you may be familiarized to not having your needs met now as an adult. So there's a settling for an energy that may be very similar to childhood. So if you have questions, go ahead and put it in the Q&A section. How to be free. Freedom in life, not being controlled by the family. So the thing that is controlling you by your family, let's look at a different perspective of this that is going to be more of what is called an Alfred Adlerian psychology perspective. Alfred Adler, considered one of the grandfathers of psychology with Carl Jung and Freud, he would say that we all have these subconscious goals. And instead of seeing it as the past equals the present, like in the past your family was controlling, so now family's controlling you and you don't feel free, more so, there's a subconscious goal to keep active, familiar energy alive. So there may be a subconscious goal to stay in familiar childhood dynamics, which may be familiar, controlled by the family. Now, the reason it's important to realize this is because then we take our power back and we realize that we can have a new goal. That new goal may be to be free, which may include being free to express yourselves or to set a boundary. Now, being controlled by your family is a language. Those terms, being controlled by your family, you'd have to first off believe you could be controlled by your family, and you'd have to believe that you are responsible for your family, responsible for making them happy, for living up to their expectation. Now, one of the most important processes of something that is called individuation is actually meeting your own expectations and not needing to live up to the parents' expectations. It's choosing your own path. You could say that a process of individuation is breaking free from the expectations of mom and dad and who they want you to be, especially when that includes abandoning yourself for them. Maybe one of the things your parents came here to learn was unconditional love. And maybe what they are having for you if they're controlling you is some form of condition. You need to go to college and do this. You need to do all of this stuff in order to then get my approval or validation. So then kids will literally, or adults literally, will be going to get a 4 to 7 year degree they don't even want. I was watching this documentary on basketball of this guy named Steph Curry. How many of you know who Steph Curry is? He's a basketball player, one of the best three-point shooters of all time. He's got like 3 NBA championships. And he's like, in this documentary, he's going to school on his computer with his kids around. You could totally tell he doesn't want to be doing it, but his mom wants him to get a degree. And he jokes about it, and he's like, he's like, Mom, I got 3 NBA championships. She goes, yeah, but it's not a degree. So he's like at home in this $1 million mansion with his kids, on like playing with his kids, but also like doing this computer stuff, getting a degree that he does not care to get. I think it's okay if you want to do it. But what I'm saying is that might also be enabling, making mom proud, making dad proud, doing it just for them when it includes abandoning yourself, may be enabling them and enabling a certain pattern. There's a certain level of codependence there that says, I am only safe when mom and dad approve of me. What if your breakthrough is to do what you want for yourself? It's to stop abandoning you. So freedom is the ability, here's another quote that I have, freedom is the ability to be disliked. This also comes from Alfred Adlerian psychology. It's from a book called The Courage of Being Disliked. And basically, the idea is that if you can let people not like you, that's freedom. Why do you want everyone's approval and validation anyways? The belief is that if I have their approval and their validation, then I'm enough. But when you have your approval and your validation, you don't rely on their approval and their validation. And it's coming from the source, which is you, instead of them. You see, this is where, by the way, everything we're talking about today is also a reflection of the inner child dynamics as a kid, learning self versus other, learning individuation. Because if in order to feel safe in my body, I need mom and dad and everyone else's approval and validation, you are going to feel guilty setting boundaries. You're going to feel guilty in choosing yourself. Guilt is a form of control. Guilt is used to keep you safe in making other people's energies and emotions yours. I just watched a car on a street skid another car and then drive away. Interesting. So freedom is the ability, kind of lost my train of thought. I was like, is that car going to hit the other car and then it just skid against it? Some of these streets are kind of skinny, so here in California. So what was I saying? So freedom is the ability to be disliked. It's the ability to let people not like you. The only time it's really challenging for us to accept that is when we believe that being disliked has anything to do with us in the sense that it means we're not good enough, or there's like some form of shame there that's being avoided. So who do I need to be to get that validation and approval? But what happens is you end up abandoning yourself in the process. And also it's as if when we're talking about that as you being the most authentic, vulnerable version of you, it's as if when you're being that version of you, there will be people that polarizes that won't resonate with it. The only time it's a challenge is if you think you need their approval and validation, then it gets confusing. But when you realize they don't have what you think they have, that's when you start to bring your power back. It's funny, right? If you accept being disliked, it's like, oh, I can be comfortable with myself. I can know it's a part of the process. A part of me putting videos out on YouTube and even doing these Instagram lives is part of that is I open myself up to possible criticism that happens. I know that the more I am the real me and the more I share the things I really think and believe, there will be people that resonate more with me because of that vulnerability, and there will be people that repels away. It's a natural part of the process. The more impact you have in the world, the more impact and the more you're being the real you, the more it will polarize people. If you think that that's not a part of the process, then you're going to try to manage it. But if you accept that you can't manage it and you accept it's a sign of growth, think about that. You being the most authentic version of you and people not agreeing or liking it is a sign of growth. Because you have now given yourself permission to be the most authentic version of you. And what normally people do is they hide that. I don't want to show the vulnerable side of myself. I don't want to show the authentic, weird, esoteric sides of myself because then I could get disapproved of. But guess what? It's only a win. You either attract people that resonate with you at a deeper level or you repel away people that don't resonate with that real you. It's a win. It's just that in your mind, you thought it wasn't a win. You thought you needed something from them. Does that make sense? So freedom is the ability to be disliked. Freedom is the ability, think about that. So now here's another aspect of this. A lot of times people are afraid of, when we were just talking about that a minute ago, right? Let me see if I'm able to. So freedom in life, not being controlled by my family, there's this dichotomy of being the good one. You need to be the good child that does what mommy and daddy says. If you're the good child, if you're the good one, then you'll get approval and validation. But the thing is what a lot of times happens is people disown the part of themselves that's actually authentic, the part of themselves that maybe is a rebel, the part of themselves that doesn't abandon themselves. They started to associate good with self-abandonment. And what I'm saying is part of the process of individuation is embracing the dark side. It's embracing a part of yourself that you've been disowning for so long to then be a more edgy part of yourself. Now, sometimes what will happen is you may grow up with a family member that maybe was very assertive. And then you say, I'm not going to be that, I'm going to be the good one. I'm going to fix mom and dad, I'm going to fix the family, because then I can feel whole. But what ends up happening is you abandon yourself. So actually, becoming what you think of as bad is the key to being good. The key is to embrace what you think of as bad is not bad. It is not bad to abandon yourself. It is not bad to set boundaries. It is not bad to go after what your passions are. It would not be bad for Steph Curry to decide not to get a degree because he doesn't want that or care about it. He's just doing it for his mommy. Do you see the difference there? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he probably views it as bad to not make mom happy. So embrace. This goes for all empaths, people who can feel other people's energies. This goes for people that are traditionally called people pleasers. There's a dark side. What you consider to be bad is actually good. It is not bad to not abandon yourself. It is not bad to choose you. It is not bad to set boundaries. But there's a little kid that is like, good, bad. There's a little kid inside of you who's like, it is good to do what mommy says. It is good to do what dad says. It is good to stay out of the way. It is good to be quiet. It is good not to shine too bright. These are all good. Bad is expressing how you feel. That's bad. Setting boundaries. That's bad. Not doing what mommy and daddy want. That's bad. So now as an adult, there's still that inner child in the background that's like, I don't want to be bad. I want to be good. But you see, good does not get respect. Good does not feel good. Good and bad, there's just authentic. Do you see the difference there? There's good, there's bad. That's no. You're not doing the right thing, Johnny. Just do what mommy tells you to do and shut up. And then you go to school. Be quiet. Only speak when you're spoken to. Read this book and regurgitate it onto this page. Okay, I do what you say. Okay, now you're going, we want you to go to college. We didn't go to college, but we want you to go to college. Okay, mommy, I want to be good. And then I'm here now and I'm like, listen, break out of it. Choose what you want to do. Tap into yourself. Do you see the difference there? It's a big difference in energy. When you start choosing you, okay? Big difference, right? Let's see. What part of our mind, what part of our subconscious mind makes us procrastinate, and how can we break this pattern? The part of your mind, your subconscious mind that makes you procrastinate is the part of your subconscious mind that is addicted to familiar. Now, procrastination keeps you in familiar. When you recognize that there's a part of you that just wants to be in the lukewarm, familiar territory that's been around for a very long time. That's the job of the ego. It's to survive. It's not to thrive. It's to keep you in known territory. So that's the part of the subconscious mind. It's the part of the subconscious mind that has also certain stories that are active. We all have core stories. And you can look at right now your childhood dynamics from when you were a kid. What are the most prevalent stories there? For me, one of them was life is not fair. Things aren't fair. And then I was in a 9-to-5 job where things weren't fair. And especially with authority figures, it was a power dynamic. Having unfair control when I was a kid and then not encouraged to be in my own power. Then I'm in a 9-to-5 job where management got away with everything, same kind of dynamic. And then for years, I was not making YouTube videos. I was procrastinating. I had all of these rules in my mind, all of these things that were prolonging it. I need to learn how to edit. If I learn one more idea, then I'll be ready. All of these things that were keeping me from taking action because it felt familiar to work a 9-to-5 job I did not like, just like it felt familiar to be in unpleasant power dynamic when I was a kid. Not in my power. So now how can you break that pattern? You can break that pattern in a few different ways. One of it is by questioning the limiting belief. By questioning what the core story is. Things aren't fair and I don't have the power to be this new version of myself. Is that true? Is that true? Begin to question it. You can break the pattern by doing the Mel Robbins thing. Mel Robbins, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like a rocket launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So you're like, I'm procrastinating. What's the thing you need to do? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it. And then as you lessen the time to think about it, the time to doubt yourself, you end up just doing it. Now remember, when we were a kid, we were primarily in a theta state of consciousness until like 6 years old or more. Then we moved into theta and alpha state from like 7 to 15. And then from 15 onwards, we're primarily in beta state. Now, changing your subconscious mind, one of the most powerful ways to do it is to go into meditation. Meditation. In meditative states, you can access theta. And then to feel that which you want to create in your life as if it's here now, to visualize and to literally rewire your brain to be in a new you. So in my free course called High Vibe 101, I have meditations that help you do that, become your future self, ways of letting go of the past. If you want to check that out, you can type in Vibe 101, all one word, VIBE 101, and I'll send it to you. We've had literally 40 or 50,000 people go through this free course, and you can get access to it for free. And there's also breathwork in there as well. Breathwork is like releasing the energy that's inside of the body. Let's see. How can I build the habit of attracting rather than chasing? One of the most powerful things for you to do, to instead of believing and desiring and wanting and chasing on the external, the things that you want, and how to get into the habit of attracting, is to first off tune to the energy inside of your body, understanding that the energy already exists inside of you. Think about it. If you want to attract a relationship or you want to attract more money, what does the relationship and the money make you feel? Doesn't make you feel anything, but you give yourself permission to feel love and connection. You give yourself permission to feel in alignment, in a flow state, abundance of opportunities. It's an emotion. So really, what you want to feel more of due to vibrational resonance, you want more money, you want more love, the key is to feel more of those emotions. Now, you can feel those emotions now by putting your focus on areas of your life where they're already there. So, for example, where in your life do you already feel connection? Where in your life do you already have friends and family? And where can you cultivate that area of your life? And as you focus on that and you feel that and you trust, you let go of attachment to outcome, you're then in an energy that's very magnetic. So instead of being in the habit of chasing, you're now in the habit of attracting. Understand, the outer is just a reflection of the inner. When it comes to abundance, what would you feel if you had X amount of money in your bank? You'd say, oh, if I had, let's say, $100,000 in my bank, I'd feel so worthy, whole, and complete. I'd feel like I have so many opportunities. When right now in the present moment, you can feel whole and complete and wire that into your body and your physiology using the power of meditation, using the power of focus. And what I'm saying is if you focus on instead building that habit of feeling it now, you will then be in a habit of attracting it on the external because it's just vibrational resonance. You've probably had it in the past where you're in momentum for something and you attract more good things because you're in a high vibrational state. And you've probably also had it to where you were in a lower vibrational state or feeling resistance and just more resistance came. It's all because of vibrational resonance. People and synchronicities and opportunities are reflecting back to you your current energetic state. Your life is a reflection of your energy. So if you want to change the external, look at the internal and feeling and rewiring the emotions in your body of already having that which you want to experience. So focus more on the energy field than focus on chasing and trying to get. Does that make sense? It's putting the awareness in your energy field. So money, and if you had $100,000 in your bank account, you'd feel whole and complete. Can you feel whole and complete now knowing that money is just a symbol? A lot of times also when you're doing what you love and you're adding value into the world because you're being and doing what you love, money comes as a reflection of that energy. So really, this is about becoming aware of the energy you're embodying and what the focus is. So chasing is an energy of trying to... Money is a symbol of the value you put out into the world. When you're the most authentic you, money is a symbol. Money is in the group collective consciousness we live in, we've decided, okay, when you do this thing and you add value, then you use money to exchange energy. That's really what money is. It's just energy. The people say, how do I attract more of that? How do I attract more energy, which is money? Well, it's how do you embody more energy? How do you embody more value? How do you follow your passion? How do you add value to others? I'm afraid people are going to hate or be jealous of me, so I stop myself. How can I stop that? Well, how has that served you to let it stop you? How has that served you? It's probably kept you in the familiar. Now understand, is it your job to manage other people's jealousy? If you are afraid to shine, then the belief is if I shine too bright, I'm going to make other people feel small. But that other people feeling small and the other people being triggered by you shining bright is their thing to deal with, not yours. And in fact, you are holding people back from actually seeing the real you. If you were to shine bright, you would also inspire people to shine bright like you. But you're thinking of only the people that will feel small. Maybe that's the reflection they need. Think about that. Maybe you being afraid to shine is keeping you in familiar territory to your past. It's keeping you playing small, so it's serving a purpose. And it's time to start shining brighter, giving yourself permission, knowing other people may be jealous. But there'll also be people that'll be inspired. And the people that are jealous, that's their stuff to deal with, not yours. So you then give people an opportunity to grow. You give people an opportunity to rise up and understand that anytime you have a certain level of success, there will be people that are jealous. There will be. And they will project that onto you. It's part of the process. If every time somebody put a negative comment on my Instagram or something like that or on YouTube and I was like, oh, this has something to do with me. It's never people that are crushing it, that are doing really well, that leave negative comments. Now what that means is that doesn't need to be a superiority, grandiose thing. It's like, yeah, see, they're so low vibrational. But it's just a recognition that it's their reflection, not yours. So understand that a lot of what we're talking about in this whole entire video is we're talking about making other people's energy and responsibility your responsibility and energy. When people are afraid to shine, when people are afraid of being judged, it's making someone else's opinion, someone else's energy, your problem. It is not your problem. And in fact, what if you want to actually, it is good to trigger people. And as a kid, it was bad to trigger people because that meant tension in the household. As an adult, it is good to trigger people in the sense that you give people the opportunity to raise up. You give people the opportunity to shine brighter. Yes, some people will be triggered by it. Some people might be jealous. But at least you're being the real you. Don't rob people from knowing who you really are, from you shining as bright as you possibly can. Because just as much as you're playing it safe to please the people that'll feel small, you're also robbing the people from actually knowing the real you, from actually knowing the real you. You're robbing people from being inspired by your light, inspired by the value and the gifts that you are to the world. So playing small is serving you in many ways. So understand that you have the ability at any moment to shine brighter. You can turn down your ability to shine bright because you're afraid that other people are going to judge you or be jealous. But that's their stuff to deal with, not yours. It is not your job to coddle them and say, it's okay, I'm always shining kind of bright. I'm so sorry for shining a little bit bright. I'm going to go back to dim my light down. I'm going to play small. I'm just going to go over here. I'm not going to step on anyone's toes. And you enable everyone else, it's enabling people around you to stay where they are. At least if you raise up and you shine bright, you then feel better, you are more in a flow state, you are respecting yourself, you are loving yourself, and you allow people to be inspired by you, or you allow them to be jealous, but that jealousy is their stuff to deal with, not yours, and it gives them an opportunity to possibly grow. Many people that sometimes look around and they're also comparing themselves to other people, they can use that as motivation. When I see other people that are successful, that are doing what I want to do, I'm inspired. I'm not like, screw that person, screw that person. It's a different level of consciousness when it's like, there's two ways to move on up. You can move on up and build a tall skyscraper, or you can tear down all the other skyscrapers so that everyone's on the ground. And saying, I'm afraid to shine is like, I'm just going to stay on the ground. I'm staying playing small. Do you see what I'm saying here? Let's see. Someone says, doesn't even have a question. Someone says, I want attention. So is that, maybe there was another question in there and that was a cutoff from another question? Attention. Now, what part of you is the part of you that wants attention? That's what you want to become aware of. Because the inner child part of us that maybe didn't feel attention growing up will then seek for it on the outside, will project it onto the outside and want the outside to meet the inner need. If you were to give attention to your own inner child and validation to your own inner child, because here's the thing, that inner child only wants attention from you. But if you believe it needs it from other people, it'll never be enough. Never. You get it from everybody. Imagine, I like to do this funny experiment sometimes I'll have people do. Imagine everywhere you go, everyone just validates you like crazy. You go to the coffee shop and people are like, oh my God, you're the most awesome person ever, high five. And you're like, yes. Someone gives you your coffee. They're like, I put extra love in the coffee because you're just so awesome. And you get the coffee and you're like, yeah, I'm just so awesome. And you're walking down the street and people are like, look at that dude's shirt. Look at her blouse or whatever. You look incredible. And you're like, thank you so much. And people are like, can I have your number? Everyone wants your attention and energy. You get it. You get all the attention and energy on the outside you could ever possibly want. Imagine. Now imagine that you have that energy for like the next year. After a while, you are going to get completely sick of it. You're going to be so tired of it. You're going to be like one of these celebrities you see, like Justin Bieber or something, that literally when paparazzi or people around him validating him, and in a way maybe annoying him in certain ways, but he literally like fights them. Get the hell away from me. They become the introverts. So people say, I want attention, but you would eventually get that and you'd realize that that's not actually the thing. You'd realize that what you really want is connection. Attention is a dirty substitute to feeling connected, to feeling love. There's an inner child part of you that settled for wanting attention because they thought that wanting attention was love. It's not love. It may have been a need. It is a need because one of the human needs is significance, which can sometimes be attention. However, what can happen is you can begin focusing on receiving love, connecting to love. It's always interesting. Living where I live in LA, I can look outside and there's things going on, people knocking on the door, cars like going, and I'm here like going live with all of you. So anyways, attention. So you want, what you really want to connect to is the love inside of yourself, the connection within yourself. How to call in your people. The best way to call in your people is not through Verizon, because yesterday Verizon went out. I guess maybe that was just in LA. It said SOS on my phone for like the first 6 hours of my day. It was not Verizon yesterday. Okay, but if you want to call in your people, I'm just kidding, of course, but if you want to call in your people, you need to be the most authentic version of you. Doing your purpose, being vulnerable and authentic. And understand that it's part of the process that when you start being that authentic part of you, you will both repel away the people that no longer resonate with that new version of you, but in its place, you will make space for people that resonate with you at a deep level. You don't have to call in your people, by the way, too. You don't have to call them in. It's more so you being this new version of you, and when you're getting into the unknown, you give opportunities for them to come at you. Like in dating, right, for example, they say like a way that a woman, the old school way that you think of a woman opening herself up to be asked out on dates is she's walking and she drops a handkerchief. She drops the handkerchief, and then it gives the opportunity for the guy to say, hey, did you drop this? And then it starts a connection, and then they get married and have babies, right? It just happens just like that. There's no in between. Here's your handkerchief. But what happens with that is she opened up an opportunity. Okay, that's that example, okay? Now when it comes to calling in your people, the way you drop the handkerchief is you go into unknown territory. You try new things. You go to that yoga class you've been thinking about going to. You go to this get-together around these people that you think you might resonate with at a deeper level. You surround yourself by people and literally put yourself in unknown energy that allows more opportunities into your life. Now also in my High Vibe Tribe, I have 50,000 people in what's called the High Vibe Tribe. It's a free community with breath work, meditations, and workshops that you can join as well. And Vibe 101, you just type that in and put it there. I'll send you the link. If you're not in it already, many of you are probably already in it. So that's how you call in your people, by being the most authentic version of you. Also, a lot of this stuff can be resolved when you start following your purpose. When I started to follow my purpose, that's when my life really started to change. When I started being a YouTuber, when I started making videos every single day on YouTube, my life changed in many ways. I started meeting people that resonated with this new me. Started getting into the unknown. I got opportunities from places in Costa Rica, and I ended up traveling. Then I started running live events. It just, so much has happened from that. Let's see. Here's a good question. It's a little bit of a longer one, but someone says, every time I feel or want to feel love, I immediately get the feeling of there having to be something bad with it, meaning that love can't be pure. There has to be something bad around the corner due to childhood. How can I purify love to accept just love? Thank you. So, once again, a lot of times our mind will try to talk us out of the unknown of feeling love. So what it does is it creates this resistance to feeling uncomfortable emotion. A lot of times people think, I want to feel love. I want to feel unconditional love. But if you were to feel unconditional love, you may think, I'm not worthy of this. It may feel kind of foreign to you. It may feel kind of itchy. And one thing you want to be aware of is, what have you associated love with? Did love come with strings attached as a kid? Did it come with manipulation? Because if it did, then what you'll find is it's like expecting there to be strings attached. And maybe when you were a kid, somehow you felt where you were feeling love and then something bad came around the corner. What if coming around the corner, instead of something bad, what if you felt love? And what if something good came around the corner? What if the bad thing coming around the corner was something for you to look at, to observe, to neutralize, and to let go of? It's just an old echo. Because Because ultimately, love just is. And if you believe, meaning that love can't be pure, what would I have to believe is true for love not to be pure? That there's strings attached, manipulation is involved. Could it be that that's an outdated belief? Is it actually true? Have there been times in your past where love was just unconditional, where love was more pure? What you'll find is a lot of times there you have both. You look to your past, you can see both reflections. You can see a reflection of your past where there was love that was pure, and you can see a reflection of your past where love had manipulation tied to it. They both exist. In the present moment is whatever perspective you have is which past you connect to, which moments you connect to. By connecting to the ones where love is pure, you can then reinforce that belief, reinforce that energy inside of yourself. Ultimately, this is why I believe meditation is just so powerful. Now, if you want to learn step by step how to apply the frame technique to feel safe in your own reality, to feel confident in your own frame, then I show step by step in a free YouTube video how to apply the frame technique. It's a guided meditation process where I explain it along the way. It's a meditation that is very easy to do, requires no meditation experience. So if you want to check out that video, I'm gonna go ahead and put the frame technique right here. Welcome to the frame technique meditation and activation.